My oldest son and daughter-in-law just purchased their first home, a traditional two-story built in the 1920s. And in today's video, I'll be refreshing, furnishing, and decorating their kitchen and dining area.
I don't know about you, but I would never let my mother-in-law decorate my house. So I feel very lucky that Nick and Amaya trust me with their first home. To make sure that the room makeovers actually reflect their style and not mine, I asked Amaya to put together a Pinterest board full of images of things she loved.
Then I took a deep dive into her pins, looking for colors, patterns, finishes, and just the overall aesthetic. It gave me a strong sense of what she was drawn to and helped me narrow in on the specific elements she'd love to see in her home. I asked her a few follow-up questions when I saw conflicting preferences. For example, I could see she wanted a simple chandelier, but did she also want shades? Then, before I started the dining room makeover, I made a list of the items that we needed to thrift or buy new. These included a dark wood table, upholstered chairs, a neutral but patterned rug, neutral drapes, black accents, and muted floral wallpaper. Amaya really dislikes the baby blue walls, so our first task is to paint over them. We also want to paint the soffit to make it less noticeable, so we took a drawer to the paint store to have it color matched. It ended up being a very creamy white color in a satin finish. It took 2 coats to completely cover the blue, but once we were done, it matched the cabinets perfectly. By removing the contrast between the soffit and the cabinets, the eye more easily travels around the room, thus giving the illusion that the cabinets are taller. Amaya liked the color so much, we ended up getting a gallon of the same paint, but in a matte finish to use on the kitchen and dining room walls. If you're new to painting, invest in a good quality angled brush, and I think you'll be surprised at how precise your painting can be. Amaya doesn't trust her painting skills just yet, so she wore a shower cap to protect her hair against spatters. Once the room was painted, I moved on to the next project, hanging wallpaper. To be honest, I was initially shocked that Amaya was in favor of using wallpaper. As long as I've known her, she has always preferred neutrals, mostly just black and white. But apparently, her style is changing. Not only did she agree to using wallpaper, she agreed to using a colorful William Morris-inspired design over other more neutral options. If you've watched any of my previous room makeovers, you know that I'm a huge fan of peel and stick wallpaper, mostly because I've spent far too many hours scraping wallpaper paste off walls, and I want to avoid ever having to do it again. However, peel and stick wallpaper can be really hard to work with. But if you first spray the wall with Roman Easy Hang spray, the peel and stick paper will go up much like a traditional pasted paper. You can move it around and even pull it off the wall and reapply it. The spray also reduces bubbles and wrinkling. By the way, they are not a sponsor. I just want to share this product with you because it makes such a huge difference. The hardest part of papering this wall was going around the window. The majority of my third strip of wallpaper was wasted because I had to cut off a huge piece for the window. This was especially aggravating because I didn't order enough wallpaper and had to move on to other projects while I waited on an additional roll to arrive. So Amaya and I went shopping for a rug, and we got super lucky. A local home decor store is going out of business. So we were able to purchase this $180 rug for half price. I chose it mostly for the size. An 8 by 10 rug is too big for this space, and a 5 by 7 is too small. This is a 7 by 9, which is perfect and a much harder size to find. And Amaya loves the green and cream colors. We also picked up a coordinating runner for the kitchen for just $30. In last week's video, I purchased two Facebook Marketplace cabinets and painted them green, one of Amaya's new favorite colors. Even though I used paint that I already had, I think they coordinate really well with the wallpaper, and they fit perfectly on either side of the window. I also thrifted two bar stools for just $5 each and reupholstered them using old patio cushions and a pillow sham. Unfortunately, the dining area doesn't have room for a large table, especially with the two green cabinets taking up some of the space. So, when I spotted this small round table with dark wood at the Habitat Restore, I thought it was just the right size. They were asking $100 for it, but since I shop there all the time, I was able to get them down to $75 plus a free box full of books. It was a little scratched up, but it cleaned up really nicely with some furniture refinisher and extra fine steel wool. There were still some noticeable scratches on the legs, so I went over those spots with a wood marker. I was actually surprised at just how well it concealed all the remaining chips and scratches. I think the table looks almost brand new. A few months ago, Amaya bought four upholstered dining chairs that had been marked down at TJ Maxx, and she had been storing them in her basement. I think they look like they belong with this table. Amaya is not a fan of the contemporary light fixtures in these two rooms. She would like a chandelier over the dining table and something prettier than a strip light over the peninsula. This house is entirely full of silver colored fixtures and hardware, including all of the cabinet handles. But Amaya wants to introduce warmer tones throughout, such as greens, browns, and creamy whites. But it would be far too expensive to replace all the silver hardware with a warmer metal like brass. So, right now, we're just going to focus on replacing the light fixtures. I decided to use black fixtures in the kitchen and dining area instead of brass or bronze because I felt it would coordinate better with the remaining silver elements. Amaya shocked me a second time when she selected vintage style embossed glass fixtures. They're not only beautiful, but they're of good quality, and all three fixtures together only cost $76. The first thing to do when changing out a light fixture is to find and flip off the circuit breaker. If you want to learn how to change out a light, I recommend getting instructions from a licensed electrician, which I am not. But I will say that 90% of the time it is a very easy and straightforward and a job that almost anyone can do. And this was one of those times. There was nothing weird with the home's existing wires, so I was able to install the new lights very quickly. The chandelier Amaya chose leans more modern than the vintage style kitchen fixtures, but I think they work well together, especially since all the fixtures have black metal elements. The chandelier also ties in nicely with the black metal legs on the dining room cabinets, which helps everything feel cohesive. To add in one more black element and to save money, I spray painted an old curtain rod, brackets, and finials with black matte spray paint. I gave them a few light coats over the course of a couple hours. When I went to install the brackets, I realized I didn't have a tape measure with me. So I used a paint stick to help me arrange the brackets evenly on either side of the window frame. I tried using some panels that I already had, but I really wanted cream colored curtains. So I picked up some inexpensive panels at Walmart. To make them look fuller, I used 4 panels, which cost $40 in total. It's hard not to love Amazon. My extra roll of wallpaper arrived in 2 days, and I could finally finish the dining room wall. However, I almost ran out of paper again. Once I matched up the pattern, my last strip was about 4 inches short of the baseboard. But I just found a scrap where I could match up the pattern. And once I lined it up perfectly and cut off the extra paper, you couldn't even tell. If I put together 2 of my leftover pieces, I had enough to cover the back of the glass doored cabinet. I know Amaya owns mostly white dishes, and I think they'll just get lost against a white background. But they'll really pop if they're displayed in front of this colorful wallpaper. Amaya was hesitant to let me do this, but that's the beauty of peel and stick wallpaper. I told her, if you don't end up liking it, we can easily pull it right off. I noticed that on Amaya's Pinterest board, several of her pins prominently featured large mirrors, especially gold ones. And it just so happens that a few years ago, I bought these 2 gold mirrors on clearance at Hobby Lobby when they were marked down like 75 or 80% off. I bought them for my bathroom, but I didn't end up using them. Now I'm thinking they might look fabulous hanging above the dining room cabinets. To hang them, I held the mirror where I wanted it to go and marked the spot, first with my finger and then with a pin where one of the nails should go. Then I sat the mirror down and used a piece of painter's tape to mark the distance between the 2 hanging hooks on the back side. I lined up one mark of the tape with the ink mark on the wall. Then I adjusted the tape to make sure it was level. I attached 2 heavy-duty picture-hanging hooks so that the hooks lined up with the marks on the tape. This is such a great hack for hanging those heavy items that have 2 D-rings on the back. I don't know where I first saw this idea, but it sure has saved me so much time and frustration. To make a room feel cohesive, a good rule of thumb is to repeat a color or metal finish at least 3 times throughout the space. This helps the eye travel around the room and creates a sense of intentional design. I thrifted these gold metal leaves for $1.99. I thought they would be a fun way to accentuate the arched opening to the dining room. And as a bonus, they're another gold element in the space in addition to the mirrors. This green metal shelf was another cheap thrift store find. I think it's only aluminum, but it looks like it's cast iron. Amaya sent me this picture as an example of wall art that she likes. The prints are dark and moody in black and or gold frames. I have plenty of frames on hand, so I searched for some online images in the public domain that I thought Amaya would like. Then to get larger sized prints, I sent the images to the Walmart Photo Center. I'm using frames with no glass inside them, so I adhered the pictures to foam board cut to fit inside my frames. I just used spray adhesive on the back of my picture and then rolled over it with a brayer to make sure that I got good adhesion. These are very lightweight, so you can just use tape or the existing staples to hold them in the frames. I decided to hang them on the right side of the patio door, and I just love how the colors in the pictures echo the colors of the wallpaper. A small piece of molding was missing on one side of the more ornate frame. So, to make it less noticeable, I applied some gold rub and buff over that spot. On the left side of the patio door, I tried out two different vintage thrift store prints, one with a black frame and one with a gold frame. I'm not sure which one I like best. I like the black frame better, but I like the larger size of the gold framed print. You'll have to let me know which one you think looks best. Amaya loved the wallpaper so much that she ordered matching switch plate covers from Amazon. I was really impressed because the screws are even printed in the pattern, so once they're screwed in, they completely disappear. Now that all the hard work is done, I can add the accessories, items from Nick and Amaya's current rental home, and a few new thrift store finds. I had recently thrifted a hobnail milk glass pitcher and a green ceramic pitcher to use somewhere in this house and decided to add them to this cabinet. This little topiary was only $2, but the pot does have a small chip. I'll touch it up with some paint later, but for now, I'll just turn it to the back. I bought these two books because they're pretty and green, but I would really like to read them too. Earlier this week, I stopped at a neighbor's garage sale where I spotted these 3 green candlesticks, and I was able to buy them for just $2. When looking at Amaya's Pinterest board, I noticed several pictures featured white floral bouquets, especially hydrangeas. So I grabbed this old faux hydrangea arrangement from my basement. I've had it for years and it's really dusty. So I gave it a shower in the sink. And now that it's clean, I think it's the perfect final touch. Now for the final reveal. Although Amaya helped me with several of the projects, she hasn't seen all the final touches.
Oh, it looks so good. I love that.
You do like the wallpaper in the
Yeah.
cabinet? Oh, good. I thought you would.
It looks so good. I was hoping you were gonna use this. I'm obsessed. It looks so good.
It really does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy.
These are adorable.
So, believe it or not, those are from your next door neighbor's garage sale yesterday.
way.
$2 for all 3.
Wow. Yeah, it's the little gold leaves. They're
Do you like
cute.
those?
Yeah.
They're kind of granny-ish, but
Nope.
I think it draws your eye up and then it reminds you, oh yeah, that's an arched opening there. How lucky am I to have an arched opening?
Yeah, so cute.
Well, I think she likes it. I hope you'll let me know in the comments what details you like or dislike. This is just the beginning. We're working our way through the whole house, one room at a time. Hit that bell so you don't miss the next reveal.